This is the Assassin's Creed remake fans have been waiting over a decade for. But is it actually worth playing? After finishing Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, I think Ubisoft got a lot right, but they also made some baffling decisions. In this video, we're going to be going over the story, the gameplay, the combat, the naval combat, and everything I loved and hated about Assassin's Creed Black Flag to help you decide if this game is worth your time. The goal here is to help you decide if Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced is the definitive way to experience one of Ubisoft's greatest games, and there's no better place to start than with the story. If you've never played Black Flag before, you play as Edward Kenway, a pirate who stumbles into the Assassin and Templar conflict while chasing fame, fortune, and freedom. It's still one of my favorite stories in the franchise. Edward starts off selfish and reckless, but throughout the game, he slowly turns into someone you actually respect. The cutscenes look incredible now, the facial animations are massively improved, and the performances are just as good as I remember. One thing I was curious about before jumping into Assassin's Creed 4 Resynced is if the modern day elements that were in the original game that were now actually removed in this game were gonna make a big difference, and honestly, no. I didn't miss the modern day elements at all in this game. I'm actually happy they're gone. At no point did I feel like something was missing, and it never took me out of the immersion. If anything, I actually preferred staying in Edward's story from beginning to end. The modern day sections in the original game were some of the slower parts of the game, so I was perfectly happy to see them gone in this one. That said though, I would like to see the return of a modern day story in future Assassin's Creed games. I know that in the recent RPG Assassin's Creed games there has been a main story, but from what I remember, it really hasn't been all that interesting. I just hope that if Ubisoft brings it back someday, it's every bit as interesting and engaging as the rest of the game, because in the original Black Flag, it simply wasn't. And as I just mentioned, the RPG games, their modern day sections really weren't all that interesting to me either. Now, there is a bit more story content in this game. There are a few new officers you can go and get, and their storyline or quest really isn't all that interesting to me either. The new voice lines you do hear from Edward are honestly pretty noticeable, but you do really have to be paying attention. It's really not something you're gonna pick up on if you're a casual player. Just wanted to throw that out there. Everything that you loved from the original Assassin's Creed 4 story is here, plus more. It's really, in my opinion, the definitive way to play the story of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It is perfect here. I love it. Now, going forward, I hope Ubisoft continues to do motion capture for their cutscenes and not their sloppy, lazy, pre-rendered BS they've been doing lately. But we'll touch more upon what I want in future Assassin's Creed games later towards the end of the video. Now we're gonna move on to my absolute favorite part of the remake, is the graphics and the world. This game is absolutely gorgeous. The Caribbean has never looked better. The lighting, water, vegetation, weather, cities, everything just feels so alive. The weather effects deserve a special mention too. I am honestly very, very impressed here. Whether it's the bright sunny skies, cloudy overcast afternoons, or massive storms rolling in across the ocean, everything here just looks so incredible. Because it's not just the visuals, it's the sound design too. Whether you're sailing into a sunset or navigating through one of those storms, this remake constantly had me stop just to look around and say, oh man, this is just beautiful. I did that so many times here. It's ridiculous. The power of the Anvil engine here is on full display. Despite the flaws of Assassin's Creed Shadows, that game looked great. It used the same engine, and this game, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, looks just way better. The lighting, the color palette, just the Anvil engine just looks incredible here. I just gotta glaze it for just a minute. Now, for this game, I had my graphics settings turned all the way up. I currently have a 5090, and the game looked great. I also have an HDR monitor that I've been playing the game on, and oh my god, did it look phenomenal. I know I'm glazing so hard, but this is easily one of the best looking games that has came out this year. I just want to note that real quick. Continuing on, I feel like it's also important that we talk about the score of the game, the music in the game, when we're talking about the world, because the music helps make you feel immersed in the world. I'm doing a lot of hand motions right now, but I'm very passionate about this game. Everything involved in making this game is so well done, and Ubisoft has truly blown me away here. The music provides an atmosphere to the world, and it's wonderful. The score from the original game is here, and I feel like I was hearing tracks that I also maybe never heard before, or maybe I just don't remember them either. But I won't talk about the sea shanties yet, but I will be talking about them, so just stick around if you want to know about those sea shanties, because they're back. And they're better than ever. You guys, if you loved them in the first game, you're gonna love them here too. Now, moving on to gameplay, let's start with the best part, naval combat. Everything you loved from the original Black Flag is back and somehow feels even better. Sailing is incredibly smooth, the ship combat is so satisfying, and the dynamic weather makes every voyage feel different. 1 minute you're cruising through crystal clear water, the next you're fighting towering waves in the middle of a thunderstorm. It's still some of the most immersive sailing I've ever experienced in a game. And for those who are waiting for it, the sea shanties, baby, there is a bunch of more sea shanties back, and they're awesome to hear. I loved running around the different cities in the game to collect some of the shanties and then play them while I was on the ship. In this game, you can choose what you want your crew to sing. It's an awesome new addition. I loved doing that and listening to Drunken Sailor 80 million times while sailing the deep blue sea. The classic side activities return too. Treasure hunting, fleet planning, assassin contracts, harpooning, they're all here, and they're still just as addicting. Speaking of addicting, the hideout was awesome to slowly upgrade over time. It was insanely satisfying and gives you another reason to keep exploring, to keep getting treasure chests, to earn the money. It was awesome. I loved it. Now, this is a weird part of gameplay and story that I noticed while playing the game. I don't remember this when I played through the original game, so it makes me believe that it's new, and if it's not new, I apologize. I made a mistake. But I'm gonna touch upon it either way. I got this prompt after completing an assassination mission with James Kidd, where I was asked if I wanted to do one more climb, to which I decided to do. Once I got to the top, Edward and Kidd sat down for a conversation, and I don't remember that in the original game, as I mentioned. You get a prompt where you can choose to sit, and there's a nice little story moment that's involved in this conversation. It's cool, and it kind of helps build Edward's character up. Very cool little moment, just wanted to touch upon it really quick. Now let's talk about the biggest change made in Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. The actual hand-to-hand combat. Overall, the combat here has been pretty controversial. I've heard pros and I've heard cons. The combat here is a mix of older Assassin's Creed games and the newer RPG style of combat in RPG games. It's faster, weightier, and honestly a lot of fun, but it's also pretty easy and can get quite repetitive at times too. I also want to touch upon the stealth in this game as well. Stealth has also improved in some ways as well, but it's also weirdly enough kinda hard. Maybe it's just me being bad at stealth. I genuinely don't know. Another new gameplay element I have to touch on, without a doubt, I said this in my impressions video I released a few weeks ago, but I want to touch upon it here too. The ability to take your hood on and off. I love it. It is so awesome. There's an animation for it. It's great. It is just phenomenal. I'm so happy we finally have this actual ability to do this in Assassin's Creed. I love it. It's so immersive. That's all. I gotta touch upon it. 10 out of 10. So for the last 8.5 minutes, I've been talking a lot about how I really like Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, but it's really not without its flaws, and we're gonna touch upon that right now. When I released my impressions video a few weeks ago on this game, I mentioned the parkour can be frustrating at times, and it still is. There are multiple moments where Edward will go somewhere I don't want him to go, or mantle onto an object I don't want him to. It's been a big pain in the butt for the last 2.5 weeks, but it is what it is. It happens. The controls in this game too are also a little bit clunky, and also not as responsive as I would like. I wish Ubisoft would have included some sort of legacy control option for players, but they didn't seem to do that, at least not yet. Speaking of controls, I mentioned how I really like how you can put Edward's hood up and down in this game, but my biggest pet peeve is, let's say you have your hood up and you go into a cutscene, the hood is then off immediately. I wish the hood would stay on during cutscenes. That would be way cooler and help with the immersion a lot more. Mission design in this game also gets quite repetitive. There are way too many objectives where you're simply stealing keys from guards to unlock another door. It just gets annoying. Once you do it once, you have done it every other time as well too. The UI here is a huge improvement, but sometimes when I open my map to find my next quest I have to go to, I have a hard time finding it. All the icons are all white and black, and mainly white, but it's just very, very annoying. It gets hard to distinguish what is what sometimes, especially when they're all clumped together. I wish the main story objective was a different color so it would stand out more from the rest. Companion NPCs are also quite a disappointment. Whenever they are in combat, they honestly feel pretty worthless and rarely make any of a difference. Now, the flaws I just mentioned aren't exactly game-breaking or deal-breaking, they are simply just a pet peeve from me. But before I give you guys my final verdict, I really want to touch upon what I would like to see from Ubisoft based on the success of Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. At the time of me recording this, Ubisoft just announced that Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced has sold over 3 million copies. That is very, very impressive. Now, there's been rumors about an Assassin's Creed 1 remake, which I don't know how to feel about, but personally, I would love to see a remake of Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, which was essentially an expansion of Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed Rogue. Those two games at the time of their release back in the day used the exact same engine that Assassin's Creed Black Flag used. So I think it's almost fitting to remake those two games as well to finish off the trilogy. I think it would just be perfect. Now, let's boil it down. Is Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced worth it? Well, here's my verdict. Despite the issues I just talked about a few minutes ago, I had an absolute blast with this game. This remake keeps everything that made the original Black Flag special while modernizing almost every aspect of it. The visuals here are stunning, the naval gameplay is phenomenal, the weather effects and sound design are some of the best I've seen in an AC game, and the exploration is as addicting as ever, and of course, the world is immersive. And even though I had complaints with the parkour, controls, mission design, and companion AI, and a few other strange Ubisoft decisions, I still found myself wanting to keep playing. This, by far, is the definitive way to experience Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This game, by far, is one of the most impressive remakes I think I've ever played, and probably the best remake ever made. I know that might be a hot take, but that's just how I feel, and I believe once you play this game as well, you will feel the exact same way I do. So without further ado, if you have been wanting to play Assassin's Creed Black Flag, now is your time to do it, and this is the game you should be playing. And if you're returning to Black Flag once again to try the remake, you picked a good choice. This game is so worth your time. You will be hooked for countless hours on end. This game is an absolute joy and an absolute blast. Ubisoft, congratulations to your team on the success and creating a phenomenal remake and overall recreating a phenomenal game. You guys knocked it out of the park here. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate all the love and support lately. It means the absolute world to me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.